Who moved my cheese? Characters and the cheese. In the story, the 4 characters have different personalities that show how people react to change. Sniff and Scurry are 2 simple mice. They don't think too much, but they use their instincts to find cheese. They are always alert, looking around for signs of where the cheese might be. Sniff is good at sniffing out change early, and Scurry is quick to take action. They don't spend much time worrying or overthinking. They just act based on what they see. The little people, Hem and Haw, are different. They are more like humans. They have complicated thoughts and emotions. Hem is very stubborn and doesn't like change at all. He wants things to stay the same and is afraid of trying new things. Haw, on the other hand, is a little more open to change, but at first, he is also scared and uncertain. Hem and Haw are always thinking and analyzing, sometimes making situations more difficult for themselves. Finding cheese at Cheese Station C. One day, all 4 characters find a big pile of cheese at a place in the maze called Cheese Station C. This is a huge discovery, and they are all very happy. Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw start visiting Cheese Station C every day to eat the cheese. The cheese at Cheese Station C represents success or happiness that people achieve in life. For Sniff and Scurry, it's just food they enjoy. For Hem and Haw, the cheese is more important. It's a symbol of security, comfort, and achievement. To Hem and Haw, this cheese means they've made it in life, and they become very attached to it. At first, all 4 characters follow the same routine. They wake up, put on their running shoes, and head to Cheese Station C to enjoy the cheese. However, after a while, Sniff and Scurry remain cautious, while Hem and Haw start to get too comfortable. The 2 mice notice the cheese is slowly disappearing each day. They keep checking the area around the cheese and stay alert. They know that cheese doesn't last forever, and they are always prepared for the possibility that the cheese will be gone someday. On the other hand, Hem and Haw stop paying attention. They believe that the cheese will always be there, so they get lazy and overconfident. They wake up later each day, they stop checking the cheese, and they no longer worry about finding new cheese. Hem and Haw become complacent, meaning they are too comfortable and don't think about what might change in the future. They even move their homes closer to Cheese Station C, so they can stay near the cheese all the time. They stop wearing their running shoes and start thinking that life will always be easy because they have found their cheese. The cheese disappears. One day, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw come to Cheese Station C and discover that the cheese is completely gone. Sniff and Scurry are not surprised. They had noticed the cheese supply was running out, and they had prepared for this moment. Without wasting any time, they put on their running shoes and start looking for new cheese in the maze. They don't stop to think or worry, they just act quickly, knowing that change has happened and they need to move on. Hem and Haw, however, are completely shocked. They cannot believe that the cheese is gone. Hem becomes very angry and starts shouting, "Who moved my cheese?" He feels like this is unfair and blames others for the cheese disappearing. Hem refuses to leave Cheese Station C. He insists that the cheese will come back, and he does not want to go out into the maze to look for more. Hem is afraid of change and would rather stay where he is, even though there is no cheese. Haw is also confused and scared at first. He looks around the empty station, hoping that the cheese will somehow come back. But after some time, Haw begins to realize that waiting for the cheese to return is not going to help. He starts thinking that maybe they need to move on and look for new cheese in the maze, but Hem refuses to listen. Hem says it's too dangerous to go back into the maze, and he believes that if they stay at Cheese Station C long enough, the cheese will reappear. Hem does not want to take any risks. Haw decides to change. Haw feels afraid of going into the unknown, but he also knows that if they don't change, they will starve. After spending days without cheese, Haw finally makes the decision to leave. He tries to convince Hem to come with him, but Hem refuses. Hem is too scared of what might happen if he goes into the maze. He worries that they might never find cheese again. Hem says things like, "What if we don't find any cheese? What if we get lost?" Haw feels nervous, but he also knows that staying in the same place where there is no cheese is worse than trying something new. So, he puts on his running shoes, takes a deep breath, and steps into the maze to search for new cheese. As he leaves, he feels a mix of fear and excitement. He knows that change is scary, but it is also necessary for survival. Learning lessons in the maze. As Haw begins his journey through the maze, he feels anxious. The maze is full of dark tunnels and dead ends, and at first, he struggles to find any cheese. He is afraid of getting lost and sometimes thinks about going back to Cheese Station C to join Hem, but then he remembers that there is no cheese there anymore. He realizes that going back won't solve anything. Haw starts to learn important lessons about change as he moves through the maze. He realizes that his fear of the unknown was holding him back. He begins to understand that change is part of life, and it is something that cannot be avoided. Haw writes down his thoughts on the walls of the maze, hoping that Hem might read them if he ever decides to leave Cheese Station C. If you do not change, you can become extinct. This means that if you don't adapt to changes, you might not survive. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Haw realizes that fear was stopping him from moving forward. Without fear, he would have acted sooner. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. This lesson shows that the faster you accept change and move on, the faster you will find new opportunities. Finding small pieces of cheese. As Haw moves deeper into the maze, he finally begins to find small pieces of cheese here and there. These small bits of cheese give him hope and energy. They are not as much as the cheese at Cheese Station C, but they help him survive. The more cheese Haw finds, the more confident he becomes. He realizes that there is still cheese in the maze, but he has to keep looking for it. Haw also starts to enjoy the process of searching for cheese. He feels stronger and more alive as he moves through the maze. He realizes that change is not something to fear, but something that can lead to new and exciting opportunities. Haw continues to write on the walls to help remind himself of these lessons and to guide him if he ever chooses to follow. Movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. He learns that taking action and trying new things is the only way to find success. Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. This lesson reminds him to stay aware of what's happening around him and not become too comfortable. Finding new cheese at Cheese Station N. After a long journey through the maze, Haw finally finds a new supply of cheese at a place called Cheese Station N. To his surprise, Sniff and Scurry are already there. The two mice had found the new cheese a long time ago because they didn't wait around like Hem and Haw. They noticed when the cheese was running out at Cheese Station C and moved quickly to find more. Haw is very happy to have found the new cheese, and he begins to enjoy it. As he eats, he reflects on everything he has learned during his journey through the maze. He realizes that the cheese at Cheese Station C didn't disappear overnight. It had been getting smaller for a long time, but he and Hem ignored the signs because they were too comfortable. Haw understands that if he had been more like Sniff and Scurry, he could have found the new cheese much sooner. He also learns that being afraid of change had kept him stuck in the past. Now, Haw knows that change is inevitable, and the best way to handle it is to adapt quickly and move with the cheese. Haw's final thoughts and messages. As Haw enjoys the new cheese, he thinks about Hem, who is still back at Cheese Station C, waiting for the old cheese to return. Haw feels sad for his friend because he knows that Hem is suffering. But Haw also realizes that Hem must decide to change on his own. No one can force him to leave Cheese Station C. Hem has to make the choice to let go of his fears and take a risk. Haw hopes that Hem will eventually read the messages on the walls and come looking for new cheese. Haw writes one final message on the wall at Cheese Station N. Change happens. They keep moving the cheese. This reminds him that life is always changing, and nothing stays the same forever. Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move. Haw now understands that it's important to expect change and be prepared for it. Adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. Haw learns that accepting change early is the best way to find new opportunities and avoid suffering. Enjoy change. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese. This message shows that change can be fun and exciting if you embrace it. Be ready to change again and again. They keep moving the cheese. Haw knows that this new cheese might also disappear one day, so he plans to stay alert and ready for more changes in the future. The lesson of the story. The main lesson of Who Moved My Cheese is that change is a natural part of life. Whether we like it or not, things will always be changing around us. If we are too afraid to adapt, we might miss out on new opportunities and become stuck in the past. The story teaches that we should not get too comfortable or attached to one way of doing things. Instead, we should always be ready to move forward when change happens. In the story, Sniff and Scurry show us that being quick to adapt leads to success. Hem shows us that resisting change and staying in the same place can lead to frustration and failure. Haw represents the person who learns to embrace change, even if it takes some time. In the end, the story teaches us that if we face change with an open mind and take action, we can find happiness and success, even when life doesn't go as planned. By learning to let go of the past and being open to new possibilities, we can enjoy the new cheese that life has to offer.